Hmm. Okay, so e4 on the board, let's response with c6 on the board, and comes knight to f3, we will play d5 on the board. So c5 blocking the central pawn, and comes d4, let's capture this pawn. Okay, so bishop comes out, we will bring out the knight, adding a defender to our central pawn, attacking this. Okay, so is the reply a3 on the board, let's take out the bishop, and okay, so bishop comes out to f4 on the board. Um, e6 on the board. Let's see what's going to be the reply. And castling. So in this position, let's play queen to p6 on the board for attacking this pawn. And now this pawn can be protected by playing p3 on the board. And we can expect to reply p3 on the board. Let's see what's going to happen over here. Hmm. Okay, so now white is thinking for a while. Let's see how white responds. Actually, this is quite confusing position for white in this position. White is a confusing position since if it tries to play b3 on the board, then the problem, yeah, if it tries to play b3 on the board, then the problem comes. Actually, there's no problem. Okay, knight comes out. Let's eliminate this knight, and sooner we will be capturing this pawn. Now rook comes, then we are going to take this pawn as well. Playing knight over here was a kind of knight development, but was a inaccuracy. Anyways, let's see what's going to happen over here. Okay, rook comes over here. Once again, no logic. Okay, if it captures, let's see what's going to happen. If it eliminates, we will take out the bishop over here. Bishop to c5. Rook eliminates the pawn. Bishop comes to c5. The main planning of bishop to c5 will be to protect the pawn and to take back the bishop over here. The pawn is protected and I can take the bishop back and can trap this rook. So it will create a rook trap as well. We can expect the rook to go back, and in this position rook to b1 was not a nice move as I suggested. Anyways, let's see what's going to happen. Now white is thinking for a while, having 7 minutes 54 seconds on the clock, thinking for a while. So comes bishop out. Okay, so the power of pin. Now in this position, it's a better option to take out another knight, and we can expect this knight capturing the pawn. Well, which will be creating further attack towards my knight. If it captures and we pressurizing the knight, so that's a good response. Let's see what's going to happen. If the knight eliminates, then we can eliminate back from the bishop, and that's the only possible variation. Let's see what happens. Okay, so this is another kind of mistake. King should have captured. Right. I did a blunder over here. Okay, now free bishop. Yeah. So at least the position is not going to be equal, but I will be having minor piece down. That will be the disadvantage. Okay, knight can capture this pawn, and if I capture this bishop, then knight coming over here. Alright, so bishop sacrifice. Let's see what's happening. Chess, pass. If you want, you can challenge me. Just set me the challenge. That's all you have to do. Okay, white is thinking for a while. White can eliminate this, which is the, yeah. And now the main importance comes that, what is it? The fork is coming out. So In easy ways, we can play queen to b4 for attacking this knight. How it is attacking the knight? We can bring out our bishop over here and can attack this. And if white does not look towards protecting this bishop especially, then I can play bishop over here, pressurizing the knight. And in the next move, I can easily win the bishop as well. Let's see what's happened over here. White is thinking for a while, having 6 minutes 10 seconds on the clock. And in this position, we can expect another great move. That is c3 on the board. c3. Okay, so let's take out the bishop to d6. Anyways, in this position, c3 was attacking the queen as well. c3 was attacking the queen. And if I take the pawn, c3 and I take the pawn, then it was a fork. So, but white plays e6 check. And now white is thinking for a while. White can capture this pawn as well, which is lying. And then we can place our rook over here. Now, what are the main plannings can be that we can start pushing this pawn forward as expect. Okay, knight check, attacking these two, which will be a better response over here. Okay, let's see what's happened over here. White having 50, I guess, yeah, queen comes out. Okay, so if I eliminate this, then check on the board, attacking the rook. So this was the importance. Knight can come over here and can attack the queen. Okay, so there are a lot of variations and we must be prepared for facing. So queen to c3 on the board. Knight poke. Okay, let's see what happens. Yeah, knight poke on the board. Well, at the end again. Guys, if you want, you can challenge me. Okay, so here's another challenge. e4 comes. e6, beginning with the French defense. And c5, Sicilian defense on the board. d5 on the board. c4. And let's see. Okay, and percent on the board. And let's take out the bishop over here. Let's take out the knight. These two pieces playing an active role. Meanwhile, the queen can play an active role by coming out over here, attacking this. This bishop should not be developed. Bishop can come over here, which will be a better response. Actually, the bishop is not developed over here, so white can look towards the development of bishop. White can either play bishop over here, attacking the queen. But the problem comes that I could simply play knight over here, so bishop will not come out over here. Bishop can come out over here, which will be attacking the bishop, which is the active piece. And that's a good response also. Let's see what happens. Or white can look towards pushing the pawn, attacking the bishop. Let's see what happens over here. Okay, so in this position, we can expect a reply, that is play bishop over here, pinning the knight. Bishop comes over here, knight over here set, and will be pressurizing the knight, which will be a better idea over here. Bishop can come over here, queen can also come out, which will be putting pressure on the knight. Anyways, let's see what's going to happen over here. White is thinking for a while. Let's see how white responds to this position. Guys, if you want, you can challenge me. Just send me challenges. That's all you have to do. Okay. In this position, what I am expecting is to play a4. Why a4? Because b5, bishop comes back, and then this, which will be a great tactic over here. Let's see what happens over here. Okay. So in this position, white is now disconnected. That's not a very good sign. Anyways, no problem. Guys, if you want to get challenge me, just send me challenges. If anyone wants, you can challenge me. Okay, now White is going to be forced to resign in 5 seconds. Yeah. Alright. So White got up and down. And over here, let's begin with D4. C4 on the board. Slap depends. Okay, knight to C3. I guess let's see, develop this bishop. Knight development on the board, knight to F3, and semi-slav defense. Okay, so bishop comes to G5 on the board. Bishop out. Let's eliminate this pawn. It eliminates back, and in this position, I guess. So in this position, let's bring out the rook to C1. Now let's see what happens. Yeah. So G3 on the board, and let's place the bishop to G2. Well, I guess A3 on the board, blocking this. Okay. So knight comes to E5 on the board. This position is fine. We can expect the knight to go back. This knight comes, okay. Let's eliminate this. And we have eliminated the knight. Now let's see what happens over here. In this position, if okay, so it eliminates back from the knight. Let's castle over here, and let's see what happens over here. This knight is not playing an active role. Let's play h4, creating a pawn storm. Okay, so a clear idea to double up and attack the pieces. Anyways, queen comes to d3, creating a rook connection, and the rook connection was important also. Okay, now in this position, let's create a clash on the center. E4 on the board. Knight eliminates back. We will. I guess. Yes. Let's eliminate back from the bishop. Pawn eliminates and queen comes to E3 on the board. That's fine. Okay. Now I cannot capture back since rook will be creating the attack. Queen E3 on the board. Now I can capture this. Okay. So if I eliminate this, rook eliminates, or if I eliminate this and bishop eliminates. Let's eliminate the pawn, and the center pawn is captured. We are attacking this bishop, so the bishop is either going to be protected, or maybe black is thinking for this. Yeah, black plays bishop over here. Let's eliminate this, and now the rook is exchanged. Let's see what is happening over here. Queen eliminates, and comes the rook over here, attacking the queen. And now the queen is under attack. We can attack this bishop with the next move. Okay. So in this position, rook over here was an inaccuracy. Okay, so knight to g4. Bishop coming to h1 capital flag, threatening the mate in 1. Yeah, let's see what happens. Bishop comes over here. So in this position, let's take out the knight back. Once again, bishop coming over here. Okay, so not a better option to exchange. Rook comes to f1. And let's see what happens over here. So black is now thinking for a while. Let's see how black responds to this position. In this position, we can create a pawn storm. by pushing x6, then x5. Bishop comes over here. The main planning is, you know, let's place the queen to g5. Bishop comes over here. Okay, bishop comes to the center. Let's push the pawn forward. So in this position, let's bring the king. Queen to g4 on the board. And let's see what happens. Queen to g4 was not a better option. Okay, so f3 blocking the checkmate. And now the checkmate is blocked. Instead is, bishop is trapped. So the bishop is going to be protected. Bishop cannot be protected. Instead, bishop can capture the pawn. That's an easy response. Yeah. Let's eliminate back from the rook. Oh, I should have eliminated back from knight. That's not a better option. Let's play king to c2 on the board. We can expect checks once again. Let's see what happens. Okay, so king to g1. Yeah. And now in this position, let's place the knight to f1 on the board. Knight comes to f1. And let's see what happens over here. So comes this. This rook cannot be moved, otherwise the checkmate is coming. So that's a better option for black. Okay, so in this position, let's take the knight to e3 on the board. For activating the knight, maybe we can look towards the knight and can look for knight can be active piece. We can take the advantage of this. Let's take the knight back. Okay, so I'll end the game. E0 queen. Okay, so e4, c6 on the board, d5, and we will eliminate the pawn. So this is the exchange variation. Let's play knight to f6, knight back to c6. Okay, so bishop comes to e2 on the board. Let's take out the bishop to f5 on the board. A3 and then e6 on the board. Now e6 on the board. After reply, we can start developing the. Let's take the bishop back. And after mana piece trade, this is the reply over here. Let's take the bishop to d6, having a sharp diagonal. If white short castle, then there's going to be a slight advantage also. Let's see what happens over here. In this position, we can expect to white not to castle. Instead, we can expect white to play bishop over here, queen over here, and can long castle, which will be a better option. That's a better strategy as well. And the planning will be better as well. Let's see what happens. Guys, I request you all to please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And if you want to challenge me, just send me challenges. That's all you have to do. Knight comes out, attacking the bishop. Let's take the bishop back to b8. This bishop is extreme strong bishop into counter defense. Okay, let's dismiss the knight. And knight goes back. Let's see what happens over here. Okay, so now white is thinking for a while. Let's see how white responds. So knight goes back. And in this position, let's play b5 on the board. Now we can expect this as the reply attacking the pawn. But the problem comes if a white plays. Alright, so in this position, let's give up the rook. Rook takes, pawn takes, this. Hmm. So in this position, I guess it's a better option. If I give up the rook, pawn eliminates, queen comes over here, threatening the mate. So king can come over here. Okay, so let's give up the rook. Rook takes on x3 on the board, and let's see what happens. Yeah, and now white eliminates. Queen comes to d6, threatening the mate in one. F4 on the board. G5. Okay, let's see what happens. The position is going to be worse. Hmm. Okay. In this position, let's activate the pieces. Bishop over here, attacking the pawn. Now that's the only possible plan. Hmm. And now white is taking time, thinking for a while. Let's see how white responds to this position. In this position, uh, white is thinking. Hmm. Um, okay, so white having 7 minutes 30 seconds on the clock is thinking for a while. We can expect the bishop, this bishop to come over here. King comes. Okay, so bishop comes, attacking the pawn, and now the pawn is under attack. So bishop comes over here. Yeah, and over here let's bring the king to e7 on the board, or we can place the rook over here. Now that rook sacrifice was a exact blunder. Otherwise, that would be a brilliant. Only if my opponent does not see that. If the opponent does not see the reply, then that move is brilliant. Otherwise, that's a worst move. Okay, so knight comes back to x7 on the board. And of course, if we are in rook down, so it's not a better option to give up any piece, like a minor piece for just trade or something. That's not a better option. Okay, so bishop can come over here, but yeah, bishop comes over here. Okay, so queen comes to d7 on the board. Let's see what happens. So now white is thinking for a while. Let's see how white responds to this position. We are attacking the center pawn with tempo, so the pawn should be protected. Let's see what happens over here. Guys, I request you all to please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And if you want, you can challenge me. Send me the challenges, that's all you have to do. Okay, so in this position, we can expect reply and tap is playing g6 on the board. Bishop comes over here. Okay, so let's remove this pawn. And now the pawn is captured. We can play rook over here. Let's see what happens over here. This is white's turn, thinking for a while. Okay, so in this position, having white having 5 minutes 22 seconds on the clock, thinking for a while. Yeah, the bishop can capture this pawn, but for some reason maybe he's not capturing. Anyways, in this position, let's play f6 on the board, and now the bishop is under attack. Yeah, let's eliminate this bishop. That's fine. since we have eliminated the bishop for knight. Let's eliminate this as well. Now open bishop and the knight having two exact squares. And now it's time for the rook and queen to place action. Hmm. Let's see what happens over here. Okay, now white is having 4 minutes 48 seconds on the clock, thinking for a while. Let's see how white responds to this position. Hmm. Okay, in this position, white is thinking for a while. We can expect playing. We can expect playing a4 on the board, attacking this pawn, and the pawn will be under attack. So comes queen to t2 over here. Alright, in this position, let's play rook to h8 on the board. And let's see what happens over here. Now white is thinking for a while, having 4 minutes 10 seconds on the clock. The rook comes out. Let's play rook to f8 on the board. And rook comes over here. Once again, we are not going to trade. Now rook comes to c8. We can play knight over here and can attack the queen. Let's see what's the response over here. White is thinking for a while, and let's see how white responds. So white having 3 minutes 42 seconds on the clock is thinking for a while, and white plays rook to x3 on the board. Okay, so queen comes to c6, and let's see what happens. Queen to c6 on the board. Guys, if you want to get challenge me, just send me challenges. That's all you have to do. In this position, the main threat is attacking the knight as well, but we can play d4 on the board. Check on the board, and the knight will be under attack. Okay, let's see what happens. White is having 3 minutes 14 seconds on the clock. Let's see how white responds. Okay, so white plays bishop coming to f3 on the board. Let's uh, let's eliminate the bishop. And in this position, queen comes to b6, threatening the mate in one. But white is going to catch the mate. Let's see what's the response over here. So now white is having 2 minutes 47 seconds on the clock. It's thinking for a while. In this position, white can try protecting the checkmate by playing queen back to e1 here or here for protecting the checkmate. That is queen coming over here. Yeah, queen comes over here. So in this position, let's place the queen to c7. Okay. King to d6 and queen over here. Okay, so this game is also kind of lost only. Let's see what happens. So queen comes out. Alright, in this position, let's play e5 and we will eliminate back, having some expectation like pushing the pawn and attacking this pawn. Let's see what's the response over here. White having 1 minute 52 seconds on the clock and thinking for a while. Let's see how white responds. Okay, white plays queen back. The threat is coming. So e4 on the board, blocking the queen. And okay, so I'll end the game. Alright. So here, guys, if you want to get challenge me, just send me challenges. That's all you have to do. Okay, so e3 on the board. Let's play d4, d5 and c5, knight to c6, e5 and queen to c7 on the board. Let's eliminate this bishop, and in this position let's develop the knight, protecting the pawn at center, and now the center pawn is protected. Now white is thinking for the while white long castles over here. So let's play bishop to d7 on the board. Okay, now bishop comes out to d7 on the board. d4, let's attack this pawn. It captures. Queen king check on the board. And let's see what happens over here. So white plays king over here. Um, Bishop to e7, making a way for castle. And we can castle over here. Let's see how white responds to this position. So white plays knight to e2 on the board. Alright, let's check castle over here, maintaining the king safety. And let's see how white responds. Now over here white is thinking for a while. White plays rook over here. Okay, so a6 on the board, attacking the bishop, and we can expect for a trade on the board. That is bishop eliminate the knight. We will eliminate back. Let's eliminate the bishop back, and let's see what happens over here. Knight comes out. The rook is attacking the bishop, so let's bring the bishop over here, attacking the knight. If knight eliminates, we will eliminate back. Yeah, that will be creating a maturity only. So white plays over here, the rook, and let's eliminate this knight. Let's give check on the board. King goes back, and now let's make the queen to d8 on the board. Now queen comes to d8. Let's see what's the response over here. Okay, so white is having 1 minute 35 seconds on the clock, thinking for a while. Let's see how white responds to this position. We can either start pushing pawn forward, creating a pawn storm. That will be a better option. Let's see how white responds. White is having 1 minute 16 seconds. Queen comes to g4 on the board. Let's play f6 on the board, attacking the rook. Rook coming over here will be a variation, so bishop will come and will be attacking. So rook comes over here. Let's eliminate this. And now my queen at rook put under attack. So we can eliminate this rook in the next move, which will be giving a check on the board, which means that is a forcing move. Queen comes to e6, giving check on the board. King to h8, knight comes over here, which will be a mate. That's a nice strategy, nice planning made by white over here. So rook comes to f7, and knight to e4, blocking the connection between queen and the rook. Now let's see what happens over here. Guys, if you want, you can challenge me. Just send me challenges. That's all you have to do. Okay, now white is having 20 seconds on the clock, which means now white is going to face time pressure. Knight eliminates the pawn. Wait. Okay, let's eliminate back. Yeah, and rook comes. Queen to c7 on the board. Come on, I was not playing queen to b6 at all. Mouse loop on the board. Rook comes to f8. Mouse slips are so frustrating. Okay, g5. Um, and now the only possible way is time pressure. Hmm. Okay, so checkmate on the board. Alright. So okay, so you play e4 on the board, knight to f3, knight to c3 on the board, d4, bishop comes to c4, bishop f4, let's castle, h3 attacking the bishop, and we will eliminate back. So comes e5, let's eliminate this back. Knight eliminate, we will eliminate the knight, and let's bring the rook over here, attacking the queen. So queen comes over here. Let's play g4 on the board. Okay, so g5 and knight comes over here. Bishop to e2 on the board. Now let's see what happens over here. Knight comes over here. So queen to g3 on the board. And let's see what happens. Okay, so in this position, I guess let's take this rook on the board. Rook eliminates back and we will play x4 on the board. And let's see what happens over here. Okay, so comes b5 in this position. Bishop comes to d3 for blocking the connection of rook over here. Okay, so comes black plays queen to a5. Alright, in this position, let's play a3 on the board. b4. Let's take the knight back. And in this position, we can expect for a knight trade on the board. Okay, so let's eliminate the bishop. And let's eliminate back from the pawn. Since if I eliminate back from the queen, then queen check and the knight will be under attack. So queen comes to t2. Now in this position, the knight is once again under attack, so queen comes to f3 for protecting the knight. And now the knight is protected. So queen to g4 on the board, the only possible response. And now black is thinking for a while. Let's see how black responds to this position. Okay, now queen comes over here. Queen check on the board. And rook comes to e1 on the board, protecting the knight. And now the knight is protected. Okay, so rook eliminates the pawn at a3. Let's eliminate this pawn. And let's see what happens. Queen to d2 on the board. King to f1. Adding a defender. Hi Rasmus, welcome to my live stream. Knight to g3. No more checks possible. Instant rook is trapped. Okay, rook eliminated. Right. Queen to e8. And our plan is okay. So checkmate coming. Rook comes to e2. Okay. Rook to e1. Rook to e2. Let's see what happens. Once again, if there is checks. Okay, no checks. Queen takes on e5. King check on the board. King goes back, and in this position, knight comes to f5 on the board, threatening the mate in one. So pawn eliminates. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Eh? Okay. So no problem. It does not eliminate. Well, now we have to think for something else. Okay, knight check, takes, or knight check, takes. That will not be a better planning. So knight check, and we are expecting for a trade on the board. Let's see if there's a trade on the board or not. Guys, if you want, you can challenge me. Just send me challenges. That's all you have to do. Queen king check on the board. So king comes to e1. King to d2 on the board. Let's see what happens. Okay, now this is black's turn. And rook comes to e3 on the board. So check on the board. And okay, so in this position, let's play king to e2 for protecting this pawn, and now the pawn is protected. Okay, so king to d3. Wow, that's a good sign. Anyways, now let's protect the queen. Queen comes to a5, and now the time pressure on the board. King to d4. Let's trade. And king to c4. Now rook trades. Okay, let's eliminate the pawn. Exact time pressure on the board created. And okay, so queen sacrifice. Alright, now maybe time pressure. Come on, why white is not losing? Okay, so stalemate on the board. And this was the stalemate. Alright. Guys, if you want, you can. Okay. So, thank you very much, guys, for coming to my live stream.